Will a change in zip code and atmosphere produce a change in win total and trajectory for Oklahoma City's new NBA team? The coach of Team TBA says it can't hurt. I'm Mike Sherman. He's our NBA beat writer, Mike Baldwin, and we're here to talk about the latest from PJ Carlesimo and all things NBA and OKC. Mike, Darnell Mayberry, our other NBA beat writer, is taking some well-deserved time off, but before he left us, he left a story and put it in the Monday paper and on News OK right now, in which PJ Carlesimo says, hey, that last year in Seattle was rough, and Oklahoma City is the best thing that ever happened to our franchise. What do you make of that statement?
Well, it's kind of obvious when you're in turmoil. You don't know you're going to be there. The crowds don't show up as regularly in Seattle as they normally would in the past because they don't even know they're going to have a team. Some people are protesting, the potential move. And what he's saying is we've got stability. We know where we're going to practice. We know where we're going to play this year, next year. The fans will be there. Without question, it helped the Hornets. I mean, they had a great crowd, and everybody around the league said when you came to Oklahoma City, it was a college-like atmosphere, and PJ experienced a little bit of that with the Spurs, and so I'm sure that's what he's referring to.
That leads into my next question, which is the last time a beleaguered franchise sort of limped into Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City was there with a big old hug. 12,000 season tickets sold in one night, which I'm told is an NBA record. And the team, the Hornets, then known as the New Orleans / Oklahoma City Hornets, had a 20-game improvement. Went from like 20 wins or 18 wins, I believe, to 38 and almost in contention. Let's play percentages for a second. And you were there. What percentage of that turnaround do you think would you attribute to the crowd?
Well, I think I'd say at least 30% because the sellouts, a lot of sellouts, not every game sellout, but a lot of them. And like I said, that college atmosphere, it lifted a young team, which needed that. And this is going to be a young team coming to town, and they're going to need that. Oh, if you put wins on it, is it worth 4 or 5 wins? Probably. But, I mean, you got to give Chris Paul, Tyson Chandler came of age, and we had some other guys, that really blossomed when they were in town here, West and some of those guys. So, I mean, the bottom line is it helps. There's no doubt. Like PJ said in that article, Darnell said, though, but you go to Boston, you don't fear the crowd, you fear the team you're playing that won the NBA title. But I think home court advantage, especially for a young team, can lift you up.
Yeah, PJ also said it's the team wearing white that you fear. But, as you said, and this was one of the great things when the Hornets were here, Willis Reed, the great Willis Reed, the NBA legend, he was a member of the Hornets front office. And one day I got to talk to him, and he said, listen, Mike, young teams feed off of crowds. Don't let anybody tell you anything different. It can become a crutch for them, and it also hurts them on the road. But a big difference is made with young teams. This is a young team. David West, Byron Scott, when they were here, they talked about what a difference the Ford Center made. It'll be interesting to see how PJ talks about it once the season gets going. Next question, Mike, Team USA, the United States, can once again claim basketball supremacy. There were gold medals in the men's basketball competition. What, if any, lessons do we take away from the Redeem team's performance in Beijing?
Well, I think Bill Branch, the local pro player personnel guy that they hired as a scout, mainly the last 2 summers to compile information, made the best point of all. He said Coach Krzyzewski, the Duke coaches, and the players committed for 3 years. In the past, I mean, they're playing countries that have been playing together since they're 16, 17, 18, 19 years old. We'd throw a team together and we'd go over there. Was that the only factor? No. But he said it was the most important factor, and I think he's right. They had practices last summer. They played together year-round on occasions during the summer instead of just throwing it together a couple months before the Olympics. And then obviously the roster was as good as it's been in a while. They picked the best players in the league. In the past, some of the players said, I don't think I'll go this time. But without question, the commitment from all the way down to scouting, to practices, to the coaches, to the scouting reports, they took it serious this time, and it showed. They dominated the whole tournament until the final game.
By the way, that story about Bill Branch, a story about an Oklahoma City NBA front office guy who was formerly an advanced scout, but spent all of his time traveling, through Argentina and all. That's on News OK right now, written by Mike Baldwin. Speaking of a story from us that's on News OK right now, Kevin Durant. Darnell Mayberry had a story about Kevin Durant's Team USA prospects for 2012. My question to you, Mike, will Kevin Durant be on that team, and what will we call that team that rhymes with dream or redeem?
Well, I think Kevin Durant will definitely be on that team. I think he's one of the up-and-coming players. You're talking 4 years down the road. That's about the time he'll blossom. Some of the other guys that are on the team, the Kobe's, and some of them may be getting a little old. definitely 2 or 3 of the other players on this roster will be too old, and they'll need some younger players. And I think him and Odin and some of the other younger players coming in the league will be on that team. As far as coming up with a rhyme, I couldn't come up with one other than the old Burt Reynolds movie, Mean Machine, because now that we're in dominance again, we can walk into the arena, Mean Machine, but I don't think they'd go with that. I think they did learn humility as a lesson too. As Leach said in our paper yesterday in football, you should fear no one but respect everyone. I think our basketball team went through that too.
Yeah, and I think they look at Spain, the way they played against Spain. Those guys played with the effort that you see in NHL Stanley Cup Finals. You ever watch one of those, especially Game 7 in the Stanley Cups, it's just all out. That's the way LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, all those guys play. I'm going to go with green team, though, if they go young. If it's Kevin Durant,
Okay.
Green team. Next question. We're coming up on a big day in Oklahoma City's NBA history, Mike. It's a chance for everybody to go down and pick out a seat that they want to sit in. They want to be their season tickets. Talk about how that's going to go.
Well, I think that's one of the biggest fly in the ointment so far is we found out there's some season ticket holders that were with the Hornets, and they got snubbed. Bottom line is the team couldn't do anything about it. They couldn't get a list of the previous season ticket holders, so they just threw a lottery out there by chance random, and people have now been notified. You're either going to go on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
September 8th is the first day.
And I've now been told it may even trickle into the next week. This may last 7, 8, 9 days to pick out your seats. And so some people are disappointed. They had prime seats for the Hornets, and their reward is, oh, I'm sorry, you're going to be day 5 or 6, and they're worried what's going to be left over. Some of the strategy, of course, is find the best seat on the aisle so people aren't getting, you can get up and leave anytime you want for the concessions or bathrooms. Also find the section with the same pricing range all the way closer to center court than you can get. It's obvious to be better on the corner than it is behind the basket, and those prices will be the same no matter what level you sit on. So there's little strategies fans have. The veteran fans, I think, will know what doing it. If you don't, we'll probably give them some advice here in the next week or so on how to pick a seat. But it's going to be interesting to see how this comes down because not everybody can afford those lower bowl seats. Just because you got a Monday ticket doesn't mean you're going to go down close. You may still be up in the, Loud City or something.
Plus, a lot of people might get scared off by prices and decide not to do it. So if you're late, don't give up hope.
And we're going to try to update people best we can on what's available. And like you said, we're going to shoot some videos and do some things.
Right. Hey, last question. Team TBA is now accepting applications and audition tapes for halftime acts. My question, Mike, what was your favorite halftime act you saw in those 2 years the Hornets were here?
Well, should I hold out for the MC job or the
in-house entertainment, the Rob Nice guy?
Or maybe even, I'm the guy over there introducing it, and now your hometown Thunder, whatever. Or can I work a raise out of this? Or?
I don't know. I think you need to be like the lady or the guy up on the big unicycle where they're throwing hoops and they're spinning plates up there.
Well,
that was one of my favorites.
My favorite was the contortionist. I mean, how do they bend like that? You see a little bit of the gymnastics when they're warming up at the Olympics. You're like, how does people bend their body that way? I can't.
The guy that put himself in the box?
Yes, and then got out and all that. I mean, but they said they want local people. These were national acts.
Yeah.
And what they're telling you people out there is if you can sing the national anthem, if you want to be that guy that rotates the arena, it's open right now. They've already had the dance. They've announced when the dance tryouts are going to be. But now it's halftime acts, the national anthem, all those things. If you think you're good enough, all you got to do is send in a tape. They're going to look it over. They'll pick the best ones. Then they'll audition them. But they want some local people this year to be some of their halftime acts. If you've got something that's pretty good as an individual or group, they'll look you over.
I would love it if there was somebody locally who could shoot a bow and arrow with their feet like that lady. That was good stuff, you got to admit. Hey, listen, Mike and I are headed down to the Ford Center for the Pick a Seat primer video. It's going to be coming to News OK later this week, and you can follow all the latest on the NBA and OKC with the best coverage team anywhere on News OK, newsok.tv, and every day in the Oklahoman.
Let's see it.